All right, I'm here with the band Niights from Cleveland. If you guys just want to go around, say your names and what you guys do.
So I'm Frank. I play guitar and sing backup.
I'm Jenna, and I sing and play guitar.
And I am Jeremy. I play the drums.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys for being here. So I was on your Spotify recently, and I saw you guys put out a new single.
We just did.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So what's the story behind that?
That is the first single that we have released in a couple years, and we wanted to start off with something that's a little different from our last album. It's a lot more like pop rock, and I don't know. It's also the first song that we tracked with Jeremy.
With me. So.
Are you usually not in the room during the recording process, or?
It depends if they let me in into the lab. But yeah,
he was a late ad. So we had most of it recorded before he kind of stepped in, but this single we decided to do over the summer, and he jumped in there and knocked it out.
Yeah, the song wasn't originally written for this album, and we decided to add it later.
And another thing he added to it too, like some of the electronic drums at the beginning. Not something we've really ever done, maybe a little bit here or there, but as a big part of the song, Jeremy was able to help guide through that and make that happen live, more importantly.
Do you guys see like a big change in your sound coming from like a new direction?
I don't know.
I don't know about big change, but definitely bringing Jeremy on as a drummer. He's been adding some electronic elements. That is something new for us to play with. We've always been very much like a guitar-only band, and then slowly started using synth, where before we were very much like only guitar pedals can make those synth sounds. And then Jeremy is also doing some more electronic stuff with like percussion. So I wouldn't say like a huge change, but it is definitely a little bit of a different direction. We've been a band for 8 years, and when we started, we were definitely a guitar only.
So there's probably some hesitancy with this new sound, or was it exciting?
It's been fun. Yeah, it's been fun.
I'm having a great time, guys.
That's good. Is everyone else having a great time as well? Or do you guys hate the new sound?
I don't know about these guys.
We'll see about after, if we get through this interview.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Time I'll be
We'll see where you guys stand after this. So how does the songwriting process work? Like, does someone come in with like an idea or a riff or a song lyric? You guys all just
when
go
we
at it together?
started, at first it was like I had songs and then Jenna had songs, and then we fleshed out each other's songs. But now it's more Jenna will have a whole song, maybe lyrics and melody and structure, and we'll add, and then or I'll have a general idea, and then we kind of everybody else jams it out. Don't you think that's kind of how it works?
Usually, some of the newer stuff we've been writing that is not even going to be on this record. We're already in the process of writing the next one, and some of that stuff is kind of like everyone in the band is just jamming, and we find something that we latch onto, and then build something out of that, which is a much more collaborative process than what we've done in the past.
For the last album that we wrote that's about to come out, we didn't have a full band that really was members. Like we had people playing with us.
Right.
We didn't have a band that would hang in and really practice and work each other's parts out. So a lot of the last record was me and Jenna writing stuff, then finding people to come in and.
Because we lost a couple of band members in the middle of, like right before recording, so it was sort of, we had to get over that hump, you know.
So you'd say like the songwriting process changed like drastically throughout the years, would you say?
Drastically, no, but it's morphed, and it's always been kind of this, we don't have one way that we go about it, like a lot of bands, there's one very clear songwriter and
formulaic.
There's a band around them that, just plays their parts, and I never write other people's parts, everybody's always writing their own parts for the most part.
But I'll write other people's parts.
Except Frank. Frank likes to tell people what to do if he has a vision. So I'm more of like I'll veto or say cool, but I'm not going to sit and be like, I want you to do this exact thing.
So does that chemistry work out for you guys then?
Sure. I mean, everybody trusts each other for the most part. I don't write bad parts, do I?
Next question.
Oh, you guys don't want to be honest with him? All right, so
I don't know how to play
I'm
drums,
just
though,
kidding.
so.
He writes great parts. He writes great parts.
how do you describe your sound?
So, some of the words that we throw out there are usually ethereal, heavy, layered texture. There's a lot of melodicism in it. Jenna adds a lot to that. Just obviously with her vocals, but she's a strong songwriter. And another big thing about our sound, beyond just like the sonic elements of it, we don't try and like repeat ourselves and like be too structured in sense of like genre. So anybody's influence in the band really could creep its way in. So we could have a acoustic ballad with some tinkly keys on it. Like the next song could be like a dropped heavy, really robust, layered sound. The next song. So trying not to repeat ourselves is a big thing in the band. I get bored very easily.
We don't fit well into one genre, which works for us and against us. When we've shot for labels, and some of the feedback we've heard is that they don't know how to describe our sound, because sometimes it is so heavy and sometimes it is so soft and dreamy. So if you had to say one word, it would be dynamic. But if we have to pick a genre, we usually lean towards the dream pop, rock, alternative,
Our take
shoegaze.
on that alternative scene back in the 90s, probably. Take a lot from that, obviously, but trying to give our own take on that.
So what are your biggest challenges as musicians?
So that's a good question. I started with these guys a couple years ago. I was a huge fan of them. So when I first came to the fray, I was like, I gotta nail this. So really, as a drummer, it's really about it's about keeping this all together. It's a very, again, loud, big band, and I try to keep with that. So it's a lot of practice, sweat equity. But then I have balance, right? I'm married, I have a child, I work. So, having that balance between this, and this is like, I love playing music with these guys. They're like my favorite people on the earth. So, but so the challenge is, again, balancing all of that and making sure that I don't make a mistake, right? Right, Frank?
That's usually what he's worried about
I
most.
think honestly, balance is the perfect answer to that question.
Yeah.
Is how much of your life can music consume?
Or
You
how
know?
much you're going to blame on somebody else, or on how much you're going to take upon yourself. Because I have a hard time balancing that. I don't know about you guys,
Yeah.
but I'm going to blame myself. I need to blame myself more instead of putting it all on you guys. That kind of screws your balance up a little bit, I'm assuming.
I think sometimes the challenge is in just like in a marriage or a business or anything else, a band is relationships between
It is.
people, where you are sharing something that is, your creative vision is something important, and sometimes it's hard to compromise that. And so we'll get some challenges in the studio, because then you have an engineer or producer in there too, and everyone has a different vision, and it's like somebody has to give at some point.
Or else you're just all screaming at each other all the time.
So even when you respect each other, you can have a difference of opinion on the way a song should go, and that's definitely a challenge.
So what is next for Niights?
Well, short term, we have a music video coming out that we just did for that single.
Into You?
So Into You. And it's a little different than what we usually do. We usually stick with more of a serious, dark, dreamy kind of thing. And with this, we shot it on VHS, and we were going for something that is kind of a nostalgia piece in a lot of different ways.
It was fun.
And it's very lighthearted, just like the song, and it's very fun.
It's goofy.
Which is good for us. Because it's not always how we approach a brand or whatever. But that's coming out in the next couple weeks.
And then after that video comes out, there'll be a couple more singles coming out. off the new record, Hell Boris. Should be out January, February of next year, but there'll be music videos coming out through the rest of the year, and then we'll be touring a lot in 2019. Hopefully get back to Japan by the end of it. Yeah.
So we're playing Rock City, Detroit. Yeah,
At the end of the month.
pretty excited about that. Fort Wayne,
Mhm.
then afterward. Pretty excited about that. I've never played there. And then we're playing Toronto Indie Fest, and I've never played. Never been to Canada, so
Wow.
this is. I know. We're right on the stone's throw. So, but I'm very excited to play Canada. So.
All right, so that was Niights from Cleveland. Thank you guys so much for being here. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Sean.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, no problem.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Yes, that's the
Thanks.
crew.
The crew.
And thank you guys too. All right. Cut.
I'm so into you.